A very good morning to all of you. My name is Priyanka Jha. I am a research scholar at the Department of Management, Sarpalli Radhakrishnan University, Bhopal, India. Firstly, I would like to say thanks to the organizer of this international conference for inviting me to present my research work on the World Summit on Management Science 2020. Today I am here to give a short presentation on the topic analysis of performing asset and non-performing asset of Indian Bank operating during 2011 to 2018. Let's start. These are the outline which I am going to discuss in my presentation. I will start my presentation with introduction and background of Indian banking industry. I will share the objective of my study and methodology which I have taken in this study. I will also share finding and interpretation along with summary and conclusion, and of course the references which I have cited. Let's start introduction. As we know, the economy of country is directly associated with the financial system. This is mainly dependent on the performance of banking sector in that region. Indian banking industry has been divided into two parts, that is public sector bank and private sector bank. I have taken SBI and PNB as a public sector bank and ICICI and Axis as a private sector bank. To know the financial condition of a bank, it is therefore essential to evaluate both public and private sectors bank's activity. Now come to discuss about background of Indian banking industry. I have classified banks asset in two forms, that is performing asset and non-performing asset. As we know, the success of banking industry is primarily dependent on the performing and non-performing assets. The asset which produce income are basically known as performing asset, and those which do not generate any income are known as non-performing asset. The performing asset is basically the asset of the bank, but the non-performing asset is a major threat in India. The problem of NPA is not limited to public sector bank, private sector bank are also suffering equally in India. The banking industry is struggling with rupees 8 trillion NPA, whereas banks in public sector are responsible for more than 75% NPAs. The Reserve Bank of India is trying to find out a solution for rising NPA in Indian banking sector. Some empirical work has been done previously to analyze the non-performing asset problem of Indian banking sector. Both public and private sector banks are showing a rising pattern of NPA from 2009 to 2017. The extent of NPA in public sector bank is comparatively very high when compared to the private sector bank, which I have cited in the reference 3 to 5. However, private sector Axis and HDFC Bank have performed better than public sector SBI and PNB Bank, as their gross NPA and net NPA are comparatively lower. This performance of public sector bank is therefore not suitable as compared with that of private sector bank. However, in terms of standard deviation of non-performing assets within public sector bank, PNB Bank is better than SBI Bank. Within the private sector bank, Axis Bank is far better than HDFC Bank, which I have taken references 6. The banking sector is one of the big investing sector. Studying and making a comparative study of the service offered by public sector and private sector bank has become very important. Now, objective of our study is focused to look into the influence of performing and non-performing asset for a comparison in the growth pattern of public sector bank, that is SBI and PNB, private sector bank, that is ICICI and Axis Bank during the financial period 2011 to 2018. For our study, I have taken hypothesis that there is any substantial effect of performing asset and non-performing asset on the growth pattern of public sector, that is SBI and PNB Bank, and private sector, that is ICICI and Axis Bank. For this, I have taken null hypothesis as there is no any possibilities of substantial effect, alternative hypothesis as there is a possibilities of substantial effect. If our study will shows there is a possibilities of substantial effect of performing asset and non-performing asset on the growth pattern of public sector bank SBI and PNB and private sector bank ICICI and Axis Bank, we will reject the null hypothesis and accept the alternative hypothesis. Now come to the methodology which I have taken in this study, that is the financial ratio analysis and percentage analysis have been used to draw an overview about the financial performance in terms of performing asset and non-performing asset. The present research work has collected secondary data from annual report of respective bank for financial period of 7 years, that is 2011 to 2018. The data has been analyzed with the help of ratio analysis and percentage analysis in SPSS. The data are expressed as mean plus minus standard deviation for statistical analysis. Now come to the major part of our presentation, that is finding and interpretation. I have divided, as we know that the asset have been classified into performing asset and non-performing asset. So here are some financial parameter which I have taken for performing asset and non-performing asset separately. I will discuss first performing asset, thereafter I will move on non-performing asset. Now start with performing asset. As we know that the bank, to know the financial performance of any bank, we have to know their growth rate. So here are some parameters which will disclose about the growth rate of the respective bank. I have taken growth in net profit, growth in total income, growth in total expenditure, growth in total advances, growth in total deposit as a financial parameter here. Look at this table. From table it can be seen that there is no significant change in any bank and values are comparable among all bank. The very first parameter, that is growth in net profit, disclose that all the 4 bank is not performing well and headed to failure in future. PNB Bank is very poor regarding this. ICICI has performed comparatively better. Now move to the next parameter, that is growth in total income. From table it can be seen that the SBI Bank and Axis Bank is performing better than PNB and ICICI. However, the value are comparable among all the 4 banks. Move to the next parameter, that is growth in total expenditure. Here the SBI is performing better than the other bank. Now come to the next parameter, that is growth in total advances. From this parameter it is clear that the Axis Bank performance is very good and it indicates that the customer prefer Axis to borrow money. Come to the next parameter, that is growth in total deposit. From here it can be seen that the customer preference for deposition of their money goes to the SBI Bank. Now come to the next parameter of performing asset, that is credit deposit ratio, which shows that the bank's credit to its total deposit and is used to assess the liquidity of a bank. From table it is clear that the value are comparable among SBI and PNB. However, in case of ICICI Bank, credit deposit ratio is significantly higher than SBI and PNB. However, in case of Axis Bank, the ratio is significantly higher than PNB but significantly lower than ICICI Bank, which means that ICICI and Axis Bank is utilizing its core fund for lending and may not have enough liquidity to cover any unprotected fund requirement. Now move on to the next parameter, that is total asset turnover ratio, which disclose the efficiency by which a bank uses its asset to produce profit. From table it can be seen the value are comparable among SBI, PNB and ICICI Bank. However, in case of Axis Bank, this value is significantly higher than SBI and PNB. Now move to the next point, that is net worth ratio and return on equity. In these two parameters, it can be clearly seen from the table that the values are comparable among all the four banks. However, Axis Bank has highest net worth ratio and return on equity. Now move on to the next parameter, that is return on asset. From this it can be seen from the table that SBI and PNB Bank is comparable among between themselves. However, in case of ICICI and Axis Bank, the value is significantly higher than PNB Bank. Regarding return on asset, ICICI Bank has performed well among these four banks. Axis Bank performance is well in total asset turnover ratio, net worth ratio and return on equity. Now move to the next financial parameter of performing asset. Here I am going to discuss about the share value of the bank. The very first parameter disclose that book value per share disclose that the value are comparable among all the four banks. Axis Bank has the highest book value per share, indicate its high market price. The earning per share and dividend per share of all four banks is comparable among themselves. There is no any significant change. But SBI has the highest one. Now come to the next parameter, that is dividend payout ratio. Here from table it can be seen the value are comparable among SBI, PNB and Axis Bank. However, in case of ICICI, this dividend payout ratio is significantly higher than PNB Bank, which indicates that dividend payout ratio express what percentage of earning bank is paid out to its shareholder. ICICI Bank has highest value, which means that the ICICI Bank is paying highest dividend to its customer or dividend holder among all four banks. Customer prefer to buy dividend of ICICI Bank, believing to retrieve their money with good interest. Retention ratio. In contrast of dividend payout ratio, dividend ratios express what percentage of earning the bank is taking in the business rather than paying out to its dividend holder. From the table it can clearly seen that the value is comparable among SBI, PNB and Axis Bank. However, in case of ICICI, the value is significantly higher than PNB Bank, which indicate that PNB Bank is retaining more cash in business and paying less dividend to its dividend holder. Now come to the next last but not the least parameter of the financial performing asset, that is debt equity ratio. Debt equity ratio compare bank's total liability to its shareholder equity and is used to evaluate financial leverage. From table it can clearly seen that the value is comparable among SBI and PNB. However, in case of ICICI Bank, debt equity ratio is significantly lower than SBI and PNB. However, in case of Axis Bank, this ratio is significantly lower than SBI and PNB but higher than ICICI. PNB Bank has more debt equity ratio, indicating that higher risk, and ICICI Bank is less risky among all the four banks. Now let us discuss about non-performing asset, which is the second part of our finding and interpretation. NPA is the asset which ceases to generate income. It is essential to evaluate NPA ratio of each banks to analyze their performance. Gross NPA indicate that how much of a bank's loan are in danger of not being repaid. If the interest is not received for 3 months, that is 90 days, the loan turn into NPA. NPA ratio is calculated by dividing gross NPA to its total asset. If a higher NPA ratio, which indicates poor asset quality, and lower the NPA ratio indicates more loan are standard asset and which can be recovered on time. We can calculate net NPA by deducting provision from the gross NPA. Let's start our discussion about the financial parameter of non-performing asset. I have taken gross NPA to gross advance, gross NPA to total asset, and net NPA to net advance financial parameter to analyze non-performing asset. In these three parameters, we can see from the table that the value are comparable among SBI, PNB and ICICI. However, in case of Axis Bank, this value is significantly lower than PNB Bank, which means that Axis Bank has lower NPA. Now come to the next parameter, that is total provision ratio. Total provision against gross NPA must be such that their net NPA should be at 0. It means there must be 100% of provision. The total provision ratio of all 4 banks is less than 100%, which is not good sign for a bank. However, from table it can be seen the value is comparable among SBI and PNB, but ICICI and Axis Bank has significantly higher than PNB Bank. Now move on to the next financial parameter, that is shareholder risk ratio. Axis Bank shows a lower shareholder risk ratio, indicate that the shareholder fund are more safe in Axis Bank than the other bank. From table it can clearly seen that value is significantly lower in ICICI and Axis Bank as compared with PNB Bank. However, in case of SBI and PNB, the value is comparable. Now move to the next parameter, that is capital adequacy ratio. Capital adequacy ratio means higher degree of protection of depositor assets. ICICI Bank has significantly a higher capital adequacy ratio as compared with SBI, PNB and Axis Bank. Now let us look at this chart which shows the correlation between gross NPA and net NPA of all 4 banks, SBI, PNB, ICICI and Axis. Here the graph is showing negative correlation between gross NPA and net NPA, which means that the effect of increasing gross NPA has an adverse impact on the net profit of a bank. Have a look to the another chart which shows the correlation between net NPA and net profit of SBI, PNB, ICICI and Axis Bank. Here this graph is also showing negative correlation. This means that the effect of increasing net NPA has an adverse impact on the net profit of a bank. In this slide, I am going to discuss about the non-performing asset parameter sector-wise advances. I have taken 4 sectors, that is priority sector, public sector, bank sector and other sector to total advances. From table it can clearly seen that PNB Bank is significantly higher than SBI. ICICI Bank is significantly higher than PNB Bank, and Axis Bank has done investment in priority sector which is significantly higher than ICICI Bank but lower than PNB Bank. In public sector, ICICI and Axis Bank has significantly lower investment as compared to SBI and PNB Bank. In banking sector, there is a comparable investment among all the four banks. In other sector, ICICI Bank has significantly higher investment as compared to PNB Bank. However, in case of Axis Bank has significantly higher investment as compared to SBI and PNB. Let us discuss about sector wise NPA for both priority and non-priority sector. Here I have taken agriculture, industry, service and personal loan sectors. From table it can seen that in agriculture sector both ICICI and Axis Bank has significantly lower NPA as compared to SBI and PNB. In industry sector, the NPA are comparable among all four banks. In service and personal loan, Axis Bank has significantly lower NPA as compared to PNB Bank. SBI and PNB have higher number of NPA in agriculture sector and industry sector. Axis Bank has lower NPA in all sector. Performance of Axis Bank is appreciable among all four banks. In this slide, I am going to discuss about the restructure of asset classification. I have taken number of borrower, amount outstanding and provision thereon. From table it can clearly seen that the PNB Bank, ICICI Bank and Axis Bank number of borrower is significantly lower than SBI Bank. However, in case of amount outstanding, the PNB Bank has significantly higher than SBI, ICICI and Axis Bank. In case of provision thereon, PNB Bank has significantly higher than SBI, ICICI and Axis Bank. Axis Bank has higher number of borrower than PNB and ICICI Bank and has fewer amount outstanding than SBI and PNB and ICICI Bank. The NPA ratio can be minimized in banking sector if a bank need to follow up the loan account smartly for recovering the installment as well as interest. If all the four banks should strictly follow the norms and smartly analyze the profile of borrower before paying them advances and make sure to recover their advances from defaulter on time. Now we will discuss about the summary. On the basis of my finding and interpretation, I rank all the four banks according to their performance on the respective financial parameter which I have discussed earlier and I mentioned here in this table. Let us have a look on the major points which I have studied. For SBI Bank, it is a popular public sector bank and that is why it gained the trust of customer. It may be one of the reason of high growth in total deposit among all four banks. This bank doing well in growth in total expenditure as well as total income. The share price of the bank is also good. That is why the bank makes more earning than the other bank. Their high earning per share and dividend per share attract the investor. ICICI Bank, the dividend payout ratio is greater among all the four banks. ICICI Bank's retention ratio and debt equity ratio are also less. Return on asset, growth in net profit and net profit margin of ICICI Bank is higher among all four banks. ICICI Bank is doing well in generation of income or profit generation. For Axis Bank, I summarize that the center of focus is toward its advance or loan segment. Managerial team of NPA segment is performing far better. Bank take good care of its shareholder either in return on equity or shareholder risk ratio. Bank operate very effectively to produce profit by using its asset. That is why the turnover ratio is high. The book value per share is high, allowing the bank to gain the confidence of its creditor and investor. However, bank is paying less dividend and retaining its fund in business for future growth, I think, improving the chance of more favorable dividend to its dividend holder in future. For PNB Bank, I will summarize that the bank has not demonstrated their optimum potential in both performing asset and non-performing asset. The bank's efficiency is not up to the mark and it need to fix it. Now come to conclusion. We concluded that the private sector bank ICICI and Axis Bank perform better than public sector bank SBI and PNB Bank during the study period 2011 to 2018. So, to round off the talk, I want to go back to the beginning where I have taken hypothesis and conclude that there is a substantial effect of performing asset and non-performing asset on the growth pattern of public sector bank SBI and PNB Bank and private sector bank, that is ICICI and Axis Bank. Hence, we will reject the null hypothesis and accept the alternative hypothesis. And these are the references which I have taken for my studies, and these some of these are my publications which I have published in different journals. I gratefully acknowledge the Department of Management, Sapalli Radhakrishnan University, Bhopal, India, for providing the academic support to do this study. I wholeheartedly admit my gratitude to my supervisor, Dr. N. Subburaj, for his meticulous guidance and encouragement. My limitless gratitude goes to my family and friends for their immeasurable support and encouragement to do this research work. For any queries, please don't hesitate to mail me on this email ID pari4337@gmail.com. I will be glad to answer that question. And this brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you for your patience.